This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Clay, we were talking a little golf earlier in the break, and I know you played in a lot of different places, and you mentioned your time at the Tulsa World. So, Tulsa World, publisher of Hogs Illustrated at one point, owner, operator, Hogs Plus contributor, senior contributor here at ESPN Arkansas. How many jobs have you had in your life, radio/writing-wise?
Not too many. I mean, I worked a little bit in high school, in college, kind of worked my way through college as a part-timer at the Arkansas Gazette, although they finally considered me a full-timer at the end. And then I was sports editor of the Conway paper for 3 years, and then
Log Cabin
Democrat, which was a lot of fun. I mean, I covered UCA, Hendricks, Conway High, St. Joseph, Greenbrier. St. Joseph was a Catholic school in Conway. So there seemed like, and I even covered junior high football, the Wampus Kittens. And that was a lot of fun. I learned a lot, probably made a lot of mistakes. And
a lot of money, right?
$85 a week. I remember that.
$85 a week. Yeah.
Well, that'd be about the per diem to go to Hoover right now. It'd be about $85 a day.
$85 a day. Yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah.
Then I worked Tulsa World for 14 years, and then started Hogs Illustrated in '92. You guys were talking earlier about sitting on the patio, in the drinks.
Yeah.
And you called them craft drinks. They named the drinks after you.
Well, they should have, but I just wish they'd give me a royalty off the name. But apparently, they mean something
craft
different.
Cocktails.
Apparently, it has a whole different meaning than my last name. I'm waiting on the check, but
to me, that would be the ultimate to have a drink named. I mean, I know Tide. They probably have named the peach margaritas the Ty Richardson.
Had one last weekend in
peach
Dallas.
margaritas.
They're on special on ladies' night.
Salty dog too. Well, Clay, you're talking about covering St. Joe's, a Catholic school in Conway. Kendall Diggs went to St. Thomas Aquinas in Overland Park, Kansas, and I know that football-wise, you've gotten a player or two from there. But when you think baseball, you think about Zayday, Isaiah Campbell, Kendall, and some other guys. Arkansas's had some success in the great
Ryan Stanek.
Yeah, Ryan Stanek. You've had some greater success.
Bobby Wernes. Yeah, there's some guys that have come out. Dave Van Horn. That's the ultimate winner from the Kansas City area.
Yeah. And
I'm a big fan of Kendall Diggs. Yeah. So if you'll remember, this time last year, I got to throw out the first pitch, and it was in the Ole Miss series on a Saturday night. Well, Kendall hit a walk-off 3-run homer, I think, to win that game.
Well.
So he's done this kind of stuff before. I mean, he's got the flair for the dramatic, and that guy, it's like, are you going to throw him a fastball in the inner half? No, you're not. Well, he did. It's still going.
I was talking with a person who lives in Kansas a couple of weeks ago, and I was up in Pittsburgh, and They were blaming Arkansas for the lack of success at Kansas and Kansas State in baseball because they can't get
Missouri.
Because they can't get any of the good kids out of Kansas City. They all come to Arkansas. So, they said our failures in baseball have everything to do with Arkansas's recruiting because Kansas City we can't get any of the good ones out there.
And you not only that, Tommy, you plucked Tavian from Lawrence when he was at Kansas.
Oh yeah. So and they say the same thing in Nebraska because they recruited Kansas City, and that's where Dave got some of his players when he was winning Big 12 championships and going to 2 College World Series. He was going to Kansas City. It is a great baseball town. That's the only pro sport they have. They don't have basketball there anymore. They don't have hockey. It's the Kansas City Royals, and there's if you drive through, I guess you get about is it Belton or someplace just south of Kansas City, you start seeing signs for baseball complexes. Blue River and through Overland Park, there's baseball fields everywhere you look. They got some soccer, but it is baseball after baseball, and that's a big part of what the kids do there in the summertime.
Big-time games today, Clay. There's a couple of elimination games this morning, 9:30, South Carolina and A&M, Alabama and Auburn. There's going to be maybe the biggest crowd so far in the tournament. Maybe the biggest crowd of the tournament could be today around 1 o'clock for that game. The top 4 seeds advance, Arkansas and LSU. big-time pitching matchup. Florida and Vanderbilt in the late game today. The late two games have an Omaha feel for sure.
I think you're right. And if you watch the way Florida and Arkansas played and the way they came from behind, you have to believe that they are the cream of the crop. You know, they're the teams that have all the weapons, you know, a complete team. And Florida might be more talented than Arkansas, but I give Arkansas an edge with just the scrappiness, the way they play, and the way they play defense.
And I think that defense that you brought up, no errors yesterday, and you think about the fielding, I don't know what the percentage at now. At one point it was above what they were doing last year, which they were really good defensively last year, and they're still better. Clay, I think about that play, the two plays that stood out to me defensively yesterday. Tavian Josenberger's diving catch in center field, and then Parker Rowland ending, I think, the 10th inning with that throw out at second. Those plays sometimes, they get lost in the shuffle, but those are just consistently what this team's doing during the course of a game.
I think we probably don't get it how good Parker Rowland is. He's calling the pitches. Matt Hobbs likes his catchers to do that if they're able to. And he is able to do that. He's got an earpiece, so Hobbs can give him some help in critical situations. But the pitchers have ultimate confidence to throw it in the dirt. He directs traffic. He's making all the decisions on where they're going to go with the ball. I mean, you know, you can hear him, but he is typical Arkansas catcher in that he is plus as far as blocking and throwing. Bobby Werniss is the catching coach, and he is dynamite. He's learned from several catchers in the major league systems, and he's taken that to Arkansas. And it's fun to watch the catchers at Arkansas under Bobby Werniss.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah.
I think.
If you go to a game though and you sit on that first base side behind the dugout, and I've had a chance to do that several times this year, he's also the energy guy. He's the one from the first base box that when he needs the dugout to be a little more boisterous in a big moment, he's kind of the cheerleader, if you will. He's the one that kind of gets the team going when it's time for them to be vocal.
Tommy.
And he's that guy on this, from what I've watched, sitting on the first base side more than a few times.
I think Peyton Holt's got some of that in him too. The kind of translate from being a quarterback at Greenwood. I talked to him a couple of days ago for something at Hogs Plus. You forget that he won a state championship for Rick Jones playing quarterback, and threw for 3,000, ran for 800. I mean, he was a do-it-all, and I mean, he's not afraid to stick his nose in the middle of stuff.
I think he played basketball there too, if I remember right. Yeah.
Yep. He told me he was always going to be a baseball player, and kind of took him a little while, a circle route, through junior college to get to Arkansas. But he's living his dream right now, and every single game, he seems to have a big hit.
Yeah, he was playing. I remember the year before he started playing quarterback, he was catching balls from Connor Nolan because he was playing wide receiver, and then transitioned to QB, and that's that. And Clay, I want to ask you this question we kind of brought up to our audience earlier. So Peyton is almost hitting over 400. He's been lethal. Gets 2 hits yesterday along with Kendall. It seems like every time I look up, he's got another multi-hit game. The clutch situation, Kendall seems to have that it factor. Between Arkansas's batting order, who's the one guy you want up there with a chance to go to Omaha or a chance to win that national championship on this team?
Yeah, I probably would say I'd say Kendall Diggs or Brady Slavens. And, that's who got him to Omaha last year. Brady Slavens got the hit in North Carolina. Got the single, and he was playing with a bad shoulder. But he seems to understand that, hey, you don't have to hit a home run here. A single will do it. And go the other way, beat the shift. I think that and Jace Borfin has done that at times this year too. So they have several. I probably would have said, if you asked me, in the middle of March, I would have said Jared Wagner. But he's now he got the hit yesterday, the Grand Slam home run. But I want to see a little more consistency out of him. He seems to be just kind of getting his eye back. But that's you could say Peyton Holt. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's batting right at 500. In the last 3 weekends. I think he got 6 hits against South Carolina, 6 for 10. And I think he got another 5 or 6 last weekend, and got what did he get 2 yesterday? I mean, it just seemed to pile up.
Tommy made a good point about Holt earlier. You got him and Callie kind of down there, but the front of the order, I think about Tavian Josenberger, who had some really good balls yesterday. They just didn't land in the field. And I wonder, and Dave's mentioned this in the press conference, I know it's come to his mind, at what point, Clay, do you think he makes a move? If Tavian keeps struggling and is not getting on base, do we see Peyton Holt or another guy in the leadoff spot?
Well, he's the perfect leadoff guy because he runs so well, and he can kind of bunt and do some other things. So you're not going to take him out of the field because he plays a great center field, and you've seen the catches that he makes. He's the most dynamic guy they've got at center field. The fact that he hit a couple of balls hard yesterday is a good sign. But he needs at bats just like Wagner needs at bats. They just miss so much time. So I think you're patient with those guys because they did so well early, and you just baseball is one of those. The streaks come and then they go. So I think you kind of have to wait it out a little longer. But there might be a time. You get into the regional or super regional and you've got a little more data and it's 8 games or 9 games, hitting 100. Well, maybe that happens then.
John Rahm's the number 1 golfer in the world in the rankings, but finished behind a club pro this last week. And there's just ups and downs to games with rhythm and muscle memory. And, we see NBA shooters go on hot streaks and cold streaks. I mean, it's just the thing is, Josenberger not hitting well now doesn't mean that couple of weeks from now when you really need him the most at Omaha, he hadn't seen beach balls coming up there. So that's what you're hoping is, now's not the time to be at your best. You're hoping to have 4 or 5 guys seeing beach balls coming to the plate, in about 3 weeks, Clay.
The hardest thing to me is a switch hitter that loses time. Because just think of it in these terms. He's got to take at bats from both sides. In batting practice. So you can't wear yourself down. So how do you split up your batting practice, over the next 3 weeks? I mean, he's a switch hitter. Parker Rowland's a switch hitter. So they've got to get swings from both sides, and we'll see how that works out.
Yeah. Give me just a second here to talk to everyone out there that might be a DirecTV customer. A lot of people made the move to DirecTV years ago because it had the Sunday ticket, and that's something you and your family or you and your buddies enjoy. Now it's gone from DirecTV, so why keep paying the bill with DirecTV when you can make the move to Dish, and they'll give you a bonus $300. But here's what else you get. Top equipment with a Hopper 3 with 16 tuners, 2,000 hours of recording power inside that DVR. They'll guarantee your price for 3 years. Your commitment's only 2, but you get a 3-year price guarantee. Plans start at under $80 a month and have all the channels that you want. So if you're a DirecTV customer, call World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's a local company, local installers, everything about it's right here. It's a toll-free number, though. 877-305-DISH. Get a $300 bonus, $300 gift card. That's not a credit. You get it, $300. If you're a DirecTV customer, make the move to Dish. 877-305-3474 for your local Dish dealer, World of Wireless.
Clay, we're 100 days out from Razorback football. I know you're excited. I know fans are excited. And I saw KJ Jefferson was a first-team All-SEC guy from Athlon Sports in addition to a few other players, Dwight McLaughlin, Rocket, Bo Limber. Rocket and Bo are also listed as their All-Americans as well. And when you look at quarterbacks in the SEC, you think about KJ being in year 5 at Arkansas, Rattler's a transfer at South Carolina, Milton's a transfer at Tennessee, Bama's brought in a transfer too, Auburn brought in a transfer. I mean, you just go down the SEC list, a lot of the starters or the guys that are competing for a starting job or transfers. How much of an advantage do you think that gives on KJ Jefferson, even with a new OC?
Well, I think it's huge, and I think that's the trump card that Sam Pittman holds this year, and I like it even better when I watched Malachi's Jacoby Criswell in spring. I like Singleton too. I'm sorry I was going to give you both names. But when you see the backups fighting for the job and see the competition they have at quarterback, there wasn't that last year. And I think that was the downfall of the team. I'll be interested to see if Dan Enos lets KJ run as much as Kendall Briles did, because he got beat up starting around the Texas A&M game, and it really changed the season. I don't know that you need him running as much as he ran last year, because he's so valuable in the passing game.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see, as we get enough data to kind of find a trend, what the number of average offensive plays in a game are going to be for Arkansas. Kendall Briles had the up-tempo. We've changed timing rules on first downs and what we're doing with the clock. Tempo is going to be slower. Is it 10 plays a game? Is it 12 plays a game? Is it 15 plays a game? There's going to be something, I think, in that neighborhood, that range, Clay, in a reduction in offensive plays this year.
Yeah, I think you're right. And the defense has something to say to that. And I believe, and I really want to see where I couldn't sit here and tell you how many of the transfer guys are going to figure in the two deep, the portal guys. They've really brought in a lot of defensive players, safeties and tackles and ends, corners, and what this will be like when it all kind of shakes out with their off-season program. Is this a better defense? Are they going to get more stops? Are they going to get 3 and outs? Are they going to, the passing game, they got wrecked in the passing game last year, guys. Big chunk plays. And if they improve that, KJ was having to score 35 last year, and that might not be enough in some games. So that's the key to me, is if the defense is improved and you can play more ground control and you don't have to make him a runner all the time.
What I've liked about Coach Wilson, Coach Woodson, and Deron Wilson, Travis Williams, Coach Wilson, the three guys that not only they brought in these high school kids, at least got them committed, they're on the defensive side, but they've gotten a ton of defensive transfers as well.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, you're saying,
transfer guys.
Like a whole new secondary.
You don't have to wait, because the freshmen, you might have 1 or 2 freshmen that contribute either on both sides of the football, but those transfers, like you're addressing, Clay, they'll be immediate impact players.
BetOnline.ag is your #1 source for all your basketball info, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest player reports for this year's pro basketball playoffs. BetOnline is always your sports information headquarters this season, as we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs. Basketball, MLB, NHL hockey, right down to UFC and boxing. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games you can play right from your home. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BLEAV. BLEAV. Bet online, where the game starts.